guys, welcome back to my channel, or hi, my name is Stacy if you're new here. So today's video we are talking about the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation, her newest foundation release. I do an 8-hour wear test in the video and also compare it to her other foundations in her line. And then I've also been wearing this foundation for a couple days already, so I do have some more developed thoughts at the end. So stay tuned for that. Before we get into it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more content like this, because it really helps out my channel and it really means a lot to me. And let's just get right into the video. Okay, so right now all I have on is just some hyaluronic acid moisturizer, the Neutrogena Hydrogel Boost one. So that's literally all I'm going to put on for this because I don't want to affect the finish of it. Okay, and I have mine in the shade 3N. It looks like this on my hand, so it's actually relatively thick but does run down, as you can see. I'm just gonna apply it to my face. So I shade match myself using Charlotte Tilbury's like shade match binder thing. Okay, also this was like half a pump, so I didn't. And I kind of already knew what my shade was gonna be because I'm 3N in her airbrush flawless one, which is like the full coverage matte one. So I was hoping that it would translate over, and supposedly it does, and so far it's looking like a good shade match. So we'll just blend it out with my damp beauty blender. Okay, right off the bat, it kind of has a more tacky consistency, like when you stick your sponge, it's kind of like you can feel it like stick like the teeniest bit to your sponge. It reminds me of the LYS Triple Fix Serum Foundation. It must be because like the actives or like the serum things in it, because this is supposed to be like a skincare foundation hybrid, which I feel like is the trend these days. It's giving very much IT Cosmetics CC cream, but it has definitely less coverage than IT Cosmetics. Okay, I don't know. I've read some things where people were like, oh, IT Cosmetics has like medium coverage or something. No, that is like medium to full, okay? It's like, anyway, that's what I was saying. Okay, so right off the bat, this is a little bit less than one pump, or maybe around one pump, I don't know. I feel like I used 2 half pumps because I was scared to like pump out too much, but I feel like we are looking good. I would say it's a medium coverage, yeah. I feel like that claim is right. You can see, gives my skin a subtle glow. I will say though, because I have oilier skin, it actually does not feel too greasy upon first application, but I also wouldn't say that it feels super creamy and hydrating. Like, it's less creamy than the IT Cosmetics CC cream. I don't know, it reminds me the most of the LYS Triple Fix Serum Foundation, so it's more like a natural thin finish on the skin, adds some glow and hydration, but nothing creamy and nothing too, you don't really feel it. Should I add some more? I feel like I want to add a little bit more coverage, so just so we can see. But yeah, first layer, really nice, covers up most of my, but as you can see, like I do have some like hyperpigmentation here. Okay, I just dimmed the lights a bit so you can see, but yeah, I have some hyperpigmentation here. So it doesn't fully cover everything, but overall it makes my skin look naturally healthy. Okay, wait, the texture really reminds me of the LYS one, just because it is that like serum consistency. Okay, so I'm just adding it into the places where I want more coverage. Yeah, and like when you rub it on your hand, across your hand and stuff, you can feel it kind of like sticking. That sounds kind of bad, but I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just kind of different than a regular foundation consistency. But it doesn't feel tacky on the skin, like it's not uncomfortable. It actually like doesn't feel like anything. Also, I will say, like right when I get out of the shower, my skin is a little bit on the drier side. Just because, I don't know, the shower like dehydrates it. So I will say, like some parts, because it's a more sticky texture, it's like the teensiest bit harder to blend out. And that also might be because I do have drier skin at this moment. But this is good information for you drier skin folks. Definitely need to like, I think you definitely do need to have some good skin prep beforehand, because with the stickier texture, it's not gonna like glide over your skin like a creamy texture would, if that makes sense. But I think the pro is that it definitely is very thin, so it's harder to get cakey like a creamy texture would. Okay, this is the second layer, and I'm really liking how that looks. It looks super natural still, but it's much more perfected. Has a nice natural to luminous finish, which is like perfect finish. So far, perfect finish, perfect coverage. The only thing that I feel like is slightly lacking is the blendability. Okay, so I'm just gonna do the rest of my makeup and then I'll be right back so we can see what the foundation looks like with the finished makeup on top, and then go from there. Okay, this is the finished look with the foundation. So I did add powder to my T-zone because I do that with every foundation as an oily skin person. So basically like right around my nose area and like right here, but the cheeks don't have any powder on them. And then I also sprayed with my Charlotte Tilbury airbrush flawless setting spray. Stuff for the eyes and the cheeks and lips will be linked down below as always, so you can check the description for that. But anyway, this glow is mostly, well, I guess it's mostly from the foundation, but then plus I just sprayed this, so there is going to be a little bit extra glow. And the blush I used is actually a powder blush, but it's this KVD vegan blush, and it's actually amazing for a powder because, as you can see, keeps the glow amazing. It's looking very natural. The main thing though is that it's very undetectable on the skin, so it goes on in a very thin layer on the skin, so you literally like cannot see that it's foundation. Yeah, that's kind of crazy actually. Like, I built it up to a pretty solid medium, or like a fuller medium coverage, because I did use 2 layers. So my skin is looking very perfected, but at the same time looking very natural. Like, Charlotte Tilbury did not miss with this. And then so far so good on my oily skin, but we'll see how it holds up. So I'll see you, like, I guess before I go to bed, so like in 8-ish hours. Right now it's 5 p.m, but I sleep late, so I'll probably check in at like 1. Okay, bye. Okay, so now I'm back and it's 1 a.m. As you can see here. Also, I didn't touch up at all, and I definitely put this makeup through the ringer because I went out to eat, I wore a mask. Yeah, perhaps may have cried a little bit. So as you can see here, I do look the tiniest bit oily, like in my T-zone, but overall it doesn't look bad at all. Here, let me lower the lights a bit just so you can like really see. Yeah, I still have the regular dew, but then I do have a little bit of shine right here. There's no breaking up or bunching up of the makeup, so that's good. It didn't like disintegrate at all. And it still looks very natural on my skin. For me having oily skin, like, this is definitely not too bad. It's been 8 hours. And given that this is like a natural to luminous finish. Also, let's powder and see how it looks like if you were to blot slash like refresh your makeup, because I didn't do any refreshing. So I'm just gonna use my Kosas Cloud Set and then just lightly press it in to where I need to powder. This is about how oily I would get with a long wearing dewy foundation anyway. Because the main thing that is important is just like you don't want it to break up. But like if you get a little bit of shine, you just put some powder on and it looks fine. So as you can see, like, we're back in business. Literally looks like I just applied it once again. Like, not a spot is out of place here. There's no patchiness, no nothing. I'm pretty impressed by the wear time actually. I feel like this might be because it's not, I wouldn't say it's a super dewy, like super hydrating foundation. So if you have very dry skin, I'm not sure if it would like do that much for your dry skin. I would say it's mostly on the natural side. Leaning dewy, but mostly natural. So if you're oily, you can wear it, as you can see here, unless you're like super oily. Yeah, it looks good as new. And I really like it so far. So I kind of fast forwarded in time a bit. I've already worn this foundation 3 times just so I could kind of finalize my thoughts on it. Basically, all my thoughts are actually the same as like my initial impressions. The main things about this foundation are that it is medium coverage. It also seems to give like a blurring quality to the skin. Like, I feel like it kind of smooths over my pores a little bit. Oh yeah, the other thing is that it looks very natural on the skin. Like, looking up close in the mirror, you literally cannot see that you're wearing foundation, even though it is like a medium coverage. Like, it's just very thin on the skin, you can't feel it. And also I would say that it holds up pretty darn well for like a hydrating foundation on my oilier skin type. I will say though, obviously, because right now it's the winter, my skin isn't super oily, it just gets a little bit greasy throughout the day and only in my T-zone. Yeah, like you saw in the wear test, like after 8 hours, it does get a little bit too oily, like where I get the most oily, which is like right around my nose and like right in between my eyebrows. But literally if you just blot or powder it again, it looks good as new. And that's the same for me for any other hydrating foundation. So the main thing is that I actually do find it to be long wearing, as in by the end of the day, it doesn't feel heavy and greasy on my skin. It still feels basically the same as when I first put it on. That's why I'm like really impressed by the longevity, even though like obviously like longevity isn't really in its claims. I'm on the Charlotte Tilbury website right now just to like read some of the claims, and then I will like confirm or deny what she claims this foundation to do. Okay, so she said that this foundation gives everyone skin that looks beautifully hydrated, plumper, smoother, and brighter. I will agree with that for the most part, especially the smoothing. I feel like it is very smoothing for a natural finish foundation. So also it says this medium coverage hydrating foundation has been expertly formulated with skincare ingredients to combine instant glow and buildable coverage with long-term skincare benefits. I really like that this foundation has skincare in it. I feel like a lot of makeup these days is moving more towards the like makeup skincare hybrid, and I feel like this foundation just kind of exemplifies that. But I haven't been wearing it long enough to test whether the skincare benefits are true. But I will say, like, I mean, I feel like my skin does feel really good after wearing this foundation. It doesn't feel too greasy, or it doesn't feel like dried out by this foundation, especially in the winter. It says lots of stuff about glowing and being hydrating. I didn't find this foundation to be super hydrating or like as emollient or wet feeling as some other hydrating foundations would be. Like, I would say it's less glowy than the It Cosmetics CC cream. It's less glowy than the Light Wonder foundation by Charlotte Tilbury. It's less glowing than my other favorite foundation, which is the Shiseido Radiant Lifting Foundation. And I will say, because of that, if you have super dry skin, I'm not sure how hydrated you would feel from this foundation, just because it is more of a thin serum-like consistency and the finish is more natural than dewy in my opinion, which I felt like it was going to be more dewy. So that, I guess that was the only surprising thing, was just it was not as dewy as I expected. And the other thing, which I don't know if you saw in the footage because it might not have been that obvious, but after using it a couple more times, I still stand by it, which is that it is the teensiest bit hard to blend with a beauty blender, because I like to kind of just like place my foundation first in all the places and then go in with a beauty blender and blend it out. So then by the time I got to the last part, which is usually like my forehead, because I usually blend my bottom half first and then go to my forehead. By the time I got to my forehead, and I'll be tapping it out with the beauty blender, I could tell that it kind of like left an imprint, like where I had swiped it on a little bit. So that's just something to keep in mind. That's what I kind of mean by it's not as creamy and hydrating as I thought it would be. Like, it definitely does not feel like a lotion. It's more like a serum, but I still really like it because I feel like it just has a very natural finish, and I feel like it still works on oilier skin types just because it is not that super like emollient greasy type of foundation. This also says other stuff like it has brightening rose complex and hydrating hyaluronic acid to improve the look of skin with each wear. So yeah, it's clinically proven to make you more radiant, hydrated, plumper, smoother, even skin tone, improves the appearance of skin, minimize the appearance of pores, pigmentation, and dark spots. Yeah, I pretty much agree with all of those. You can just see how it adds this very natural, subtle glow. And this is, I never powder my cheeks, but I did use a powder blush. Like, basically this is the finish of the foundation by itself. So you can see just like this natural glow. So yeah, this foundation, like for this talking portion, has only been on for about like an hour or so, but I will zoom you in. You can just literally see how it blurs over everything. I feel like the blurring quality is really nice for a like natural to dewy foundation. And it doesn't like catch on anything weirdly, it doesn't emphasize any weird texture. Because I do have some texture. And I will say, so I love hyaluronic acid, as like I feel like most people do, but even as an oily skin person, because a lot of times your skin will actually be more oily and acting up when it's dehydrated. So a lot of people with oily skin don't know that they need to like moisturize. And I feel like a hyaluronic acid like moisturizer is perfect for oily skin people just because it generally is like more lightweight or like in a gel form. So it's not gonna like clog your pores, it's not gonna be too greasy and heavy on your skin. But at the same time, like it literally just feels like it gives your skin a drink of water. And then because you're hydrating your skin, it's actually getting less oily throughout the day. Since this foundation does have hyaluronic acid in it, I feel like because it's hydrating my skin that way throughout the day, it doesn't get super oily by the end. Even though this isn't a matte foundation, it doesn't like set, but yeah, not tacky at all. It's just very thin, very serum-like. So yeah, overall, I really am enjoying this foundation. I feel like Charlotte Tilbury does not miss, okay? Oh yeah, I figured that I should swatch it against the other Charlotte Tilbury foundations that I currently own, which are the Light Wonder and the Airbrush Flawless foundation. Okay, so I have some thick swatches and then I also blended them out a little bit over here. So this is the Light Wonder foundation in the shade 3 Fair, and this is the Beautiful Skin foundation in 3N, which is the new one. And then this is the Airbrush Flawless foundation in the shade 3N also. So, but as you can see, they actually are quite a bit different from each other. The Light Wonder one is definitely darker and more peachy. Then this new Beautiful Skin foundation is actually the most neutral because the Airbrush Flawless one is actually a lot more yellow. So if you're worried about like how neutral the Beautiful Skin one is, it's the most neutral out of the threes that are supposed to be neutral. Yeah, but I will say like all of these, like I can make them work. I think especially because I'm quite fair right now, Light Wonder one is definitely a little bit dark on me, but because it has sheer coverage, it mostly blends out to like work. I feel like some people are gonna ask like what's the difference between the Light Wonder and the Beautiful Skin. The Light Wonder is more glowy in my opinion. It's definitely more like a true skin tint. It has sheer coverage, but it also is quite buildable. Like it's not like a no coverage skin tint. This is more like a medium buildable. Okay, I feel like the default coverage of this is light, and then you can build it up to a medium if you want to add more layers, and then the default coverage of this is light medium, and you can build it up to medium if you want to add more layers without like adding too much product, because I never add like a ton of product in my face. Yeah, and I feel like also their textures are quite different. The Light Wonder is very runny. Beautiful Skin is a little bit thicker, and it also feels a little bit tacky. It more so just affects the application, and it doesn't affect like how it actually wears on the skin or how it feels on the skin, because it's like not tacky at all when you touch it, and nothing comes off on my fingers. I will be adding this to my regular foundation rotation. Let me know down in the comments below if you guys want to try this foundation, or if you've already tried it, what you guys think. That's about it for today. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you like this video, and comment and subscribe down below if you want to see more content like this, because it really helps out my channel and it would really mean a lot to me. And I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.